Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever and whenever you are, and welcome to Take the Points.
A true underdog podcast.
Oh, I was waiting to see if you were going to add a theme there, Steve, but no.
No,
not today. I like it.
Just going with it.
You guys, I am living my best life right now. I just have to say,
Wow.
I really am. I know I have an injury going on. My leg's messed up. I can't play basketball right now, but I am sure as heck watching it and loving every minute of it. Michigan State's in the Sweet 16. Michigan's in the Sweet 16. If they both win, they play each other. Like, how can you find a better world than this right now? What did you guys do last weekend? Anything other than just watch basketball?
Nope.
I took care of the kids because my wife worked.
Well, I had to do that too, but I was also watching basketball while doing that.
Yes, the multitasking just wasn't as fully immersed in basketball as I would have liked.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, there's nothing. Is there another option of something to do?
No, I just am trying to gauge if you guys are as jacked up as I am right now. I don't know.
I'm jacked. Now I will admit, I thought to start on Thursday, you're so much anticipation. I didn't think the games were that great. I mean, Steve, we watched most of those first couple games together, and it was like there just wasn't a ton of flair to those early on games. I think coming off of like Oakland last year, right, with the big upset, I think there just wasn't a ton of huge storylines out of day one this year, which I think doesn't mean the tournament wasn't great. It just was a little bit more low key and maybe as expected versus any of these massive upsets. I think they said the average margin of victory for like the number one teams this year was like 26 points or between number 1 and 2 seeds. And like the average margin of victory in the first round was like 9 points. So it was definitely, there was a couple nail biters, but that was my only like letdown is there's so much anticipation, but I mean, Michigan and Michigan State delivered, which is the main one that I think we all cared about.
Absolutely.
I think it fell flat for me after the High Point money line debacle. Robbie and I bet High Point money line halfway through that game, and
then we doubled down. I think
we doubled down on it.
Yeah, we
because
did.
they dug themselves a pretty good hole.
You chased it, man.
We did.
Yeah, we wanted
sprinted hard after it.
We left it all out there.
We did.
Wow. Well, I can also say I hadn't been putting out many bets lately. I think I told you, Robbie, I hadn't bet at all recently. But now, I mean, that kind of went out the window on Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
I went to a bachelor party. It was all about watching, college basketball, and we had the quad mode going on a big screen. That. So of course I had to chuck in some bets. It was also a casino themed bachelor party, and there was like casino games brought in, so like gambling was in the air. But it was amazing, and I did win a couple. Overall, I ended up losing more than I won, but I think it was because I did the same thing as you guys, where I was going for like the big upset. You see these like huge, plus 600 if they win, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's kind of a close game right now, and you just go for it. But yeah, to your point, Robbie, not a ton of those like, oh my gosh moments. But enough surprises for me that it would still stayed really interesting. Like I think, and we can get into it later. I know we're going to talk, a little bit about the Michigan State games, and then also do a little preview there. And also before I really get into this, I just want to say at the top of the show, if you are not already following us, if you have not already looked at our socials, please go check us out, or Take the Points or Take the Points show across all socials. So please go look at that, because we have, I did put up like on TikTok a reaction from Michigan when they won the Big Ten tournament. We need to do more of that live in the moment. So go check us out on socials and also follow us here. But I will say my biggest moments from this tournament so far, outside of Michigan and Michigan State, have been the couple upsets that happened, like Arkansas. You got a 10 seed there in the Sweet 16. Some really cool stuff there with Calipari. Stoked for him. And then also Drake as an 11 seed did win. So there's been a couple. And then Colorado State.
Oh, it was brutal. I felt bad for him. That was tough.
They almost went. Last second lost to Maryland. Like they almost made it Sweet 16. So I think there's been enough excitement there with some higher seeds.
Yeah, and it's also, I think when you look at the tournament too, this happens every year. someone will upset somebody in the first round. They end up losing the next round anyways. Like it's rare to get, like a 12
That's
seed.
true Cinderella, right?
Yeah, going to the Final Four. I mean, it's obviously happened, but it's generally kind of a one and done. I mean, look at Oakland last year. As great as that first game was, right? They lose to NC State the next game, right? And that was it. But still good basketball was played. I agree. I think like here's the thing: those nail biter games are just like there's nothing like them coming down. Like what these kids are doing out there too. Like that Colorado State game last night was a great example. Like the guy that hit that shot, that Lake guy has been at Colorado State for like 5 years. He's got every record, right? He hits a deep three to put him up with such little time left. You're like, that's a shot that like will set that guy up for the rest of his life, right? And then they lose on a buzzer beater and it goes totally the other way. That's the heartbreak that kills you. One team up, one team down in a matter of seconds. Like that's the heartbreak of March Madness. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, and also McNeese won too as a 12 seed. Like, but then same thing. They just kind of took a shit in the next games against Purdue. So
yeah, that was tough. Yeah, that was not the greatest year so far for upsets. The fact that Arkansas is aren't they the lowest or the worst seed left? Right?
Yeah, but
that was a good game too against St. John. I mean, Calipari and Rick Pitino. That was probably the game that I leaned into the most. Yeah, and just like wire to wire, I was like, this game has got it all. And Arkansas pull it up.
Can we talk about John Calipari's daughter crying like they just won the national title like in the last 2 minutes of both these first two games? Like, what can someone just explain to me what's going on? I mean, she can't even watch the game. Like, what the fuck is happening? Why are we like sobbing on the sideline? I want to be like, yo, first round, talk to me in 3 rounds, then we can be emotional.
I think the thing, if I had to guess, is that she's seeing her dad, who has moved from Kentucky, which is blue blood, one of the biggest programs out there, to Arkansas, which is nothing to sneeze at, but clearly not in the same vicinity as Kentucky. And so it's like she basically saw her dad get demoted. Yeah. This would be my take. And then to see him then still succeed. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Like if someone was talking shit to my dad, I guess, and I was like, how would I feel? I'd probably feel, I would murder someone. Yeah. So that makes sense.
Yeah, man. You just sit there and be like, well, Dad, I'm not going to be impressed now. Wait till you get to the Elite Eight.
Yeah. I just, it was like, it was just she can't even look up and watch what's happening. Like this, it just felt like a little much.
For the camera too. You know that, right?
Yeah.
She knows the camera's on her. They all know when the camera's on them. They're playing it up.
I do have that future bet on Arkansas to win the title, which is good. Don't. Yes, I do.
Really? That's a good one.
Arkansas and Michigan. I bet on both. Yeah.
When did you put those in?
Right before the tournament started. I actually threw like a couple bucks down on like 10 different teams. I had the longest odds. Like I didn't put money down Auburn or anything just because I'm at the bet so much to win that. I mean, I guess it's plus 200, but I got Michigan at like plus 20,000 or something. It's crazy. Same with Arkansas. So I'm hoping we get a Tiger situation where like, cool, just win next weekend and get to the Elite Eight or Final Four. I'm cashing out on that 1,000%, like without a doubt. I'm hoping for the cash out option is what I'm playing for.
That's a good,
the infamous cash out early.
Yes.
You won't open that. You won't go back down.
No. No.
Oh man. Yeah. Well, can we talk a little bit about Michigan and Michigan State so far in this tournament?
Yes. How are we feeling?
So when we were on about a week ago, Robbie, I remember saying, strongest I've felt about a prediction on something, saying I think Michigan State's going to make a deep run.
You did say that.
And they haven't done that yet. I mean, they're in the Sweet 16, but I wouldn't yet call it a deep run, but it's good. It's a good start.
Yep.
However, there were some moments in both of our first games that made me say, ooh, it gave me a little pause. Obviously, Michigan State is a second half team, and they have been all year. And actually, there was a stat of Tom Izzo teams. He's been to the Sweet 16 now 16 times. 13 out of those 16 times, they were losing at halftime in the game to get to the Sweet 16.
Oh, wow.
Dang.
So that's, it says a lot right there. So it's not that shocking, but there were moments that felt just like, wow, this team is not here right now. Like defensively, especially just losing assignments, guys kind of just getting blown by. couple really questionable shots. And then Jace Richardson just kind of really struggling in the game yesterday, where I think he was at 1.0 of 9 from the floor and had 0 points, like coming into the last few minutes. Yeah. So like, hopefully that's just getting that out of the way. But they haven't really played a great team yet. I mean, they played Bryant and then New Mexico, who's very just like double-digit seeds. And they had, obviously they ended up blowing out Bryant, but they had too close of a game for comfort for me against New Mexico.
I feel like they got the best of both teams, though, which I think is maybe why it felt so close, right? Like, I don't know if Bryant could have.
Yeah, those guys are going to play up to someone like Michigan State every time.
Like, I don't know if they could have played much better. But I mean, Bryant, right? I mean, they played, I think, the way we thought them would. But the New Mexico, they just came out. They were hitting shots. Guys that normally don't hit shots were hitting threes. Like, they were down They down like 10-0 to start the game or something like that. 10-2, they were down early. It felt like there was just that 8-point gap. They couldn't get through Michigan State at that point. Just could not get through. But that's Wilson, like we said when we were chatting last week. This team goes through these lulls. It's just, and every team does. It's not like it's exclusive to Michigan State, but especially given that they don't really have an alpha, which we talked about. I think they depend on these plays that they feed off each other, right? Like you look at when they really get going, it's, Aikens hitting a 3, right? Or Cohen Carr against Bryant just goes off in the front. I mean, when that guy started to make like turnaround hook shots and he had a jumper, I think, from about 8 feet out, it was like, that's not his game. When he started to do that, I knew they were going to be okay in that game, but I think it's just in both games, it was Cohen Carr in the first game, and it's your boy, Wilson, you called out last week, Frankie Fiddler last night.
Huge.
Without him in the last, 8 minutes of that game, I still think he had some fadeaway jumpers he had. I think he had a and one for a 3-point play. He had a couple key boards. Like, it was exactly what we said last week. If you would have told me Cohen Carr and Frankie Fiddler would have been two of the key guys from the first two games, Carr, I guess I could have said, okay, sure. But based on how he's been playing, it's mostly been lobs and stuff. Both those two guys, that gives me confidence of, all right, if those have been their studs through the first two games, if the rest of the pack really gets going here, like now we're at another level from Michigan State standpoint.
Man, it's a good point. Yeah, I didn't really think of it that way of like, yeah, we're in a good place because we've won 2 games and haven't even had our best players really step up yet.
No, and you were missing free throws. Did you see? I mean, last night, everything we talked about, start the Bryant game, they were getting out rebounded. They were turning the ball over, and they weren't hitting their free throws. Like, everything we said that they were good at, they were having problems with in both games. Like, the free throw, I mean, Frankie Fiddler is an 85%, 90% shooter. He misses 2 last night.
And even Jeremy Fears, dude, he's like a 70-some% free throw shooter, couldn't buy one.
Yeah,
but so I don't know. I'm still optimistic, and I still think that this team has the potential to go all the way. Truly, however, they're not going to win. Maybe Ole Miss is a difference. Like, Ole Miss is probably another team that's. I don't know that they're an amazing team. They're obviously a capable team, and they could knock a good team out. But if we play the way that we have played these first 2 games against like an Auburn, that's what I'm thinking ahead to, and maybe I'm just thinking ahead too far. Ooh. But like you can't play the way we've played these first 2 games against a team like Auburn and win.
How about a team like Michigan?
I mean, a team like Michigan. Honestly, same.
Yeah,
you can't play that way against Michigan and win.
That's just totally write us off there, Wilson. That's fine. Yeah.
But, I did. That was actually unintentional, but you're right. I did write
such
Michigan
a subtle flex.
I will say, having not been paying a ton of close attention to Michigan State this year, I think what always rattles me a little bit, like if I were in your shoes as a State fan, I would say there's a lot of, and maybe a lot's not the right word, but it feels like often a Tom Izzo team will either over deliver and be a Final Four team or fall short drastically. And with the way that you guys played the first 2 games, last night, New Mexico, I was like, this would really be shitty for you guys to get popped by New Mexico. But like, it had the makings of that happening, at least at times.
34-24 was the score at one point. I thought it was over.
Right. And we're like, I'm like, you guys pulled it out, which is great. But ultimately, you're right. Like, I think Michigan State can certainly make a deep, deep run this year, but I just get concerned, quite frankly, with these these state teams the last 10 years or so that just continue to fall a little bit short of expectations. So I don't know if that's something maybe just me as a little bit of a bias, opinion, but do you worry about that at all?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, definitely. There's been some teams where I'm like, this is the best team that we've ever had, and then we'll lose to Middle Tennessee State.
State, right?
Like there's been a few of those, but I think that at this point, if we lose to Ole Miss, it will be disappointing, but it's not like you came into this season as a Michigan State fan thinking this is a championship year. Like that kind of developed over the course of the year. But if you were to ask me at the start of the year, like, you're in a situation where you're playing for an Elite Eight and you're against Ole Miss, like, and you've just had a struggle of a two first games of the tournament. Like, how do you feel? I'd have said, I feel pretty darn good about that for the year. So, like, it wouldn't be a catastrophic, like, failure to me at this point if they were to go down. But obviously, I still think it would be like, yeah, we probably could have made a Final Four this year. So it's a little disappointing, but
I mean, you don't think it'd be catastrophic if you lost to Ole Miss?
No, I don't think
catastrophic.
I don't think anybody in the rest of the country would be like shocked that Michigan State lost to Ole Miss. I think it'd be like, oh, Ole Miss won, and then
I think that is wrong.
I would
totally disagree.
Floored.
Yeah.
See, maybe it's just that I
think it would be a huge.
I agree.
I think it would be a program changing loss.
No,
because I think Tom Izzo.
That's aggressive. I'm not at that level.
So aggressive.
Well, no, only because think about taking into context of Tom Izzo, right? Like what was this? I heard a stat the other day prior to this tournament. He won like 7 games in his last 8 tournaments or something, or 7 in his last 6. You haven't made a Final Four since 2019. He's old. Right, like, is it time to what's the succession plan for Tom? You got to think about it. At some point.
What other program says, "Oh, it's been 5 years since you made a Final Four. Get the F out."
What
that's
other
crazy.
Program holds on to a guy for 30 years that hasn't won anything in 25?
Oh, now you're throwing darts.
I'm just saying.
I don't know, man. He's been
made the tournament 27 straight years.
He's been to 5 Final Fours.
He has, and that's fantastic. But you haven't won a national title since 2000. You haven't played in one since 2009. And you have all these under delivery years kind of peppered in there too. I just wonder.
Oh man, he's the winningest coach in Big Ten history.
I'm not trying. Yeah,
Steve, what are you trying to say? Is my question.
I'm trying to say if it's another under delivery year for Tom Izzo, do you really start to think of like, hey, we gotta like it's time for the next phase of this program, whatever it is, which doesn't mean it can't be as great.
My only thought here
is not like Tom Izzo's 55 years old.
No, I know he's 70 years old. No,
he's old. He's
right.
He's long in the tooth. He's going to be. How many more years does he have left in general?
He could coach 10 more years.
But let alone if he continues to fall short.
I think you are calling this year a failure if they don't win. Did you have championship expectations? I think this is one of his greatest coaching jobs of all time.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
So I
agree with that, and that's why I think it would be catastrophic if he lost.
No, but you're implying like that they came into the year number 1 favorite, like they've had this awesome year and then they lose.
Never implied that.
Well, you just said that like it would be catastrophic failure if they lost.
Given the
fact that they
started expectations, given new information and how well they've been playing and
right.
They've looked.
But I think you're overlooking the record though that he had this year, and they're look what an amazing fucking season that they had. They run 11, 12 guys deep on this team. Like they got damn near the whole team's coming back next year. Like this is vintage Izzo.
I'm not saying they would fire Tom Izzo. I just think it could be a blow to.
I mean, what is a catastrophic
the longevity of this?
You said program changing loss.
I said it could be a program changing loss if he falls short again, and somebody, the athletic director, has to say at some point, at some point this decision will have to be made.
Never.
How much longer do we run back with Tom Izzo?
Never. They will not kick him out till he chooses to leave.
That's fine.
They're the Big Ten champs, 30 win season. And you go to the Sweet 16, I think that's still a great year for a team that was unranked to start the year.
Sure, but take the unranked part of it out. A 30-win team that these expectations now, and they lose to Ole Miss in the Sweet 16. That would be that would
it would be a bad loss. But at the same time,
I think it would be pretty bad.
I think the like where I was coming from there though is like we're not looked at as a favorite to win. Even still at this point, we're not even close. Like it's Auburn, it's Florida. People
You're
are still
number 2 seed.
Yeah, I know.
You're one of the top 8 teams in the tournament.
But people are looking at Florida, Auburn, Duke, like way more of a chance to win. Everybody in their mind is thinking one of those teams is going to win. Houston even. And then Michigan State. So if you're seeing a Michigan State loss, it's not like you think, oh, that's the team I thought was going to win for the majority of the country. They're like, oh, they lost. Maybe I would have had them to win that game, but it's not like a shocker. Is where that came from.
I think a loss to Ole Miss.
I would just be shocked.
Yeah,
a loss to Ole Miss, I would be shocked.
I think we got to separate out.
Be like, damn, that's a shitty loss.
They're a 6 seed.
Yeah,
but given the momentum that you guys had coming into the tournament and hitting the 2 seed, right? You're one of the 8 best teams in the tournament. You're arguably one of the 6 best teams in the tournament, and to not make it out of the Sweet 16, I think that would be a really bad year. I think that would be falling.
Oh man, that would be a really bad. I feel like that's.
I don't think it's going to happen, but I think you're going to beat Ole Miss. I think you're going to make a run to the Final Four, and that's going to be a great year for you guys. I really think that's going to happen.
Some teams are Final Four or championship or bust. This team is not that. Like
I'm not saying that.
This team had low expectations at the start of the year, and I know like you said, things change as you see more information throughout the year and you win games, but. There's no major recruits that were like, this is a number 1 recruit. Or there's no like seniors that you're like, this guy had such an amazing career. Like Jaden Akins is probably our best senior, and he's had a really bad year. And actually last year, kind of a bad year too. So it's not like there's these players that people just have these huge expectations for. So that's why I think Tom Izzo did an amazing job, to Robbie's point, with the group that he had and the expectation he had. So it's like not a bad year if they lose the game, but we're talking about it like they've already lost, and we all know that they're most likely going to win.
I think they're going to win. The hypothetical of it, right? Is my point is, who cares if you were unranked to start the season? As the season unfolds and as you watch this team, as you see the job that's been done this year, you should expect more. Is my opinion. If my team was as good as yours, I'd be like, fuck yeah. Right.
Well, I always expect to win. I do always expect to win, but then you also have to be realistic about it and realize, like, when they do lose, it's because inevitably good teams do lose at some point. Yeah. It's like it was a game that to a good enough team that's also in the Sweet 16.
Yeah,
it's hard to call that a bad year.
And let me walk something back a little bit. The program changing comment, I think that was still, I still kind of looking back at, I'm thinking of the New Mexico game, like not making the Sweet 16. I think that would be a lot more damaging than losing in the Sweet 16. So I will give you that. I'll walk that one back, but I think you guys should get to the Final Four, and I think a loss against Ole Miss would be pretty shitty.
I think Tom Izzo
pretty shitty received nationwide.
Yeah, I think there's so many different like segments or summaries you could just make. Like, I think, did Tom Izzo have a good regular season? Like, did anyone expect him to be where they are right now? I think that answer is no, which automatically says, okay, there was a success. I think Tom Izzo coming into this year, people were, okay, can he still thrive in this new college environment, right? Wasn't super active in the transfer portal, really relying a lot on his own guys, but he got back out on the recruiting trail, right? Getting Jace Richardson was huge because there's the bloodline there to his dad. Like, they got some good recruits coming in next year. Like, Xavier Booker has not panned out, which no one would have thought that they would have been here this year without him. I think that is proven that Izzo still has it, actually. So, Steve, your catastrophic program, like, I don't think there was ever a question of, is Tom Izzo going to be back? Like, he's clearly chasing that second title is what he's going after.
Correct.
I think he's going to give himself, call it maybe 5 years, right, to continue to give it a go. Like, he's proven this year he can still get it done. But I also agree that going up against Ole Miss this weekend, given where they are right now, given the team that they have, I do think it would be a massive disappointment for them not to get past Ole Miss based on the fact that you just look at this Ole Miss team and you look at Michigan State, they've proven to be a different breed this year. Michigan State has, right? And I think that's where your expectations can change as the year goes on. We talked about this with the Lions last year, right?
That's all I'm saying, right?
Like when they got hurt and their entire team was hurt, I think we all knew going into the playoffs, okay, they're probably not going to win the Super Bowl. But Wilson, when we asked you, what do you think of the season? You said failure from the gun because we came in with expectations to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's where I think there's so many avenues versus like, like, you know what I mean? And we are talking like they lost. And I think we can do this after the season of what do we take it away from? But that's where it's like, you look at a team like Michigan too, that did really well. Like it's Dusty May's first year. Even if they got one tournament win, I think it was a success for them. But now does that change now?
For us right now.
Right, exactly. So but that shows that this program's held to maybe states obviously held to different standards than Michigan from a basketball perspective.
Well, that's where I was just going to say is like if this is house money for Michigan, but it's not for Michigan State, who came into the year with no expectation to be here. Then,
but you're here.
But
you got
so was Michigan. So why?
But you got here as a two because you got here as a
because you got here as a 2 seed, and we had to win the Big Ten tournament to get. Not that I think that actually factored in the seed, but to get the 5 seed. That's you're going from being one of the 6 best teams in the country in Michigan State to one of the 20 in Michigan.
I think it's
when you think of it that way, that's a pretty big drop off.
Because Michigan fans in the same breath are saying we should have been a 4 seed or potentially a 3 seed like Wisconsin. So then why don't you think that you should be like making a run to the Final Four, or that the Sweet 16 is house money?
I feel like because it's a brand new coach, brand new, direction of the program. I really didn't know what to expect this year.
So, you didn't expect it, but they got there, which would be the same, I guess, criteria for Michigan State.
You're right.
Exactly.
You got there. That's very accurate. I think that's very fair. We got there, and I feel like, at least for me, I'm content with this because this is what I didn't expect this at all. Where I think for Michigan State, I guess it goes back to Tom Izzo's legacy too, right? Final Fours pop up with him, and pop up might be like giving him discredit to the job that he does all those years, but he can take teams on run. He's taken worse teams on deeper runs, right?
Yeah, so that's why I'm like, man, he's held to this standard.
But because you guys ramped up at the end of the year, you ramped up at the right time. You got a top seed. You were one of the 2 best teams in this region, right? You should be going for the Final Four. And
they definitely.
And I think if it's more so if you were to have not gotten to the 16, the Sweet 16, that would be a huge issue. But you're here now, and let's get you to the Elite 8, and I think that's still fair in terms of expectations, but I think you guys should be absolutely gunning for that Final Four.
And there's no doubt in my mind that every single person on that team, and especially Tom Izzo, would be very upset and disappointed if they lose before the national championship. Like there's nothing that's going to satisfy them except for a national championship. But I'm thinking from like just a realistic and like more macro level, like not when you're like in the team and you're in it so hard. I just don't think that most people would be that surprised about Michigan State losing because there was not that high of a standard. We have more of a standard, I think, here to Tom Izzo than the rest of the country sees. They know he's a great coach. They know he's a legend. Nobody was surprised when Bill Self, who is also an amazing coach with a legacy at Kansas, lost as a 7 seed.
Kansas sucks
because their team just didn't have high expectations.
Brutal this year. They got fucking
7 seed.
They were a number. They can't. But think about this. They were at one point the number 1 ranked team this season.
Early on, and then they sucked.
Exactly.
They went in the opposite direction.
So, in my opinion, they should be looked at as a worse.
Yeah, he sucks.
It should be looked at as a worse loss or change.
Yeah,
that's a program-changing loss.
No, that's a terrible.
Boys, we're putting bad things in the air. They are not going to lose.
We're not going to lose. I think it's interesting to talk about, though.
It has,
and I will say my word choice was poor, program changing. I was more so thinking, had you not gotten to the Sweet 16, right, another Middle Tennessee State type year, that would have been more impactful. Mm-hmm. I still don't think no one's getting rid of Tom Izzo. I just think again, it's all very hypothetical and unnecessary because this you got to where you are already. But I just think that this is not good enough for Tom Izzo and the standards that Michigan State should have.
I appreciate that.
Nationwide.
I think this is great that we just talked about this because, first of all, nobody's having this conversation because we did just talk about it as if they just lost, and nobody's talking about about that in that way right now, which I think is cool. And also, we're we're setting ourselves up for when we talk about this next week. We'll have this discussion to go back to make points on. But let's talk about Michigan a little bit more, because what I saw from their first two games was a similar level of resilience in being able to take a punch and say, okay, what's our plan now? And who are we really? After, being in a tough spot, which they were in that second game, they got down by 8-10 points. And the way that they handled that and came back fairly easily and right in stride was impressive to me, and actually said a lot to me about Dusty May, the way he's able to handle that and corral the guys and put a plan together and get some points on the board when they really needed them the most. So if I was a Michigan fan, that's what would be my takeaway there, and I'd be very pleased, but curious to know your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier. I'm pleased with it. It seems to me like from the Big Ten tournament through these first two games has really helped them find their identity. And I think that's what's hard when you have a new coach, transfer guys, right? Like you're trying to figure out what your identity is as a team. And maybe I mean that just kind of like, how are we going to play the game? And the resilience piece is, I think, a good word for it. They were able to continue to fight back. And they've been playing that way at the best time of year. And now you got to go up against the best team in the tournament in Auburn. It's going to be the tallest task. If they pull this off, I mean, I will do the next pod without a shirt off. I will just pop my top. I'll be so excited.
Wow. Yeah. Right. Can't wait for that. Can't wait for that.
But that's a tall task. So I didn't really know what to expect this year. Like I said, new regime there. And the way that the Juwan Howard years kind of ended, it was this is getting ugly. Right.
Oh, it was awesome to watch.
Right. I'm sure it was, but to see it quickly pivot into some semblance of there's a direction. It's great. I'm good from here on out.
I'm impressed, honestly. I will say, as a Michigan State fan, I didn't think Michigan was going to turn it around this quickly. So obviously some great transfers really helped, but Dusty May's a great coach. And also just the ability for somebody like a Roddy Gale to step up and have a career high 20-some points.
He shoots fucking 20% from the field.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden he's draining everything.
26 points, man.
Yeah, that's similar to how Cohen Carr and Frankie Fiddler stepped up for Michigan State. So I think Michigan and Michigan State have had a really, really kind of parallel just performance so far, with non-main guys stepping up and being down and then coming back. So it's interesting. I don't know. I don't like Michigan's chances against Auburn. And actually I did say last week before we got on, I said I think Michigan's going to get to the Sweet 16 and lose to Auburn. I did say that. So I still see it, but either way, I agree with you. That would be a successful year for Michigan, even if they lose this game, big time.
Yeah. And I think, man, how awesome would it be to watch Michigan and Michigan State go at it again in the Elite Eight? I think that'd be pretty cool. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Although I would feel a pit in my stomach just thinking about the potential of us losing a chance to go to Final Four to Michigan would be maybe the worst thing that I can imagine happening.
That's where I think that's what entices me so much about it, is because in that scenario, it's hard to beat a team 3 times in 1 year. All the momentum kind of shifts to Michigan. Now you guys could go up and wax us again like you did the first 2 times. It really not matter. But the pressure shifting to Michigan State and the potential to do that, this would be so cool. But I don't even think we're going to get there. So
I don't think so either, but I do think if that were to happen, Michigan State would feel they would take out their aggression on Michigan posting, we're the best in the Big Ten after winning the Big Ten tournament, and Michigan posting Big Ten champions, which is not what you are when you're in the Big Ten tournament. Michigan State would show up and be like, you guys are dumb.
You know what's great?
That was very dorky.
You know what's great listening to both of you talk, I've been quiet here for a couple minutes, is the amount of just subtle rivalry undertone between both of you. No, you don't. Neither of you are like saying it, but it's like the amount of digs that are occurring just in the way that it's like, oh, that'd be like great for you guys. Like it is right, just like spewing. I love that for you. It is spewing out of you both, just like how you both feel that way. Because Wilson, I hear what you're saying. If Michigan going into an Elite Eight game against Michigan State for a chance to go in the Final Four, Michigan has nothing to lose. Michigan State has everything to lose. And you could have kicked the shit out of them 2 times this year and they beat you and it's all for nothing. And it's just brutal. It's just like, there's nothing like, to me, that would be absolutely you want to talk about catastrophic? That's a catastrophic loss because Michigan State, in my opinion, still is a better team than Michigan because I don't think there's as deep of a team in the tournament left outside of maybe like Florida when it comes to Michigan State. Like, I think Michigan State is just like, I just think their roster is like, they don't have that, I guess, Jason, they don't have this stud, this star, right? This like superstar that you're going to see everywhere, but they kill you with depth. Where I think Michigan is, you look what they're really riding. Like they are riding their 2 like centers in the middle, right? Like what do they call them? Area 51 or whatever the hell they call them. Like, but their guard play has been the difference. That is what is like catapulting them. If they had an elite guard, which Donaldson's been incredible in the tourney, right? He's been playing out of his mind. You get a guy like Gale going off. That's how you pull an upset because Michigan has a clear advantage on the inside in almost every team they're going to go against. And if that is going to leave your guards open, and if the guards continue to hit shots like they have been, look at the biggest shots in the game that they won on Saturday. That was coming from that was Gale and that was Donaldson making threes, right, making wide open jumpers. Like that's going to be the difference for me. And I think that's why. One question I was going to ask you guys that you kind of answered is between Michigan and Michigan State, who have you learned more about in the first 2 games of the tournament that you like? Who has like? Which team do you think you've learned more about? Has it been Michigan State or has it been Michigan? I'll let you both answer. From me, I think they've actually both shown a lot of similarities between the 2 of them where Michigan State has been down in both games, back against the wall, so easy to fold like a chair, and they haven't, right? They have pushed back and erased a 10-point deficit. You look at Michigan, the exact same situation, right? They have just shown this resilience in the Big Ten tourney. They've been playing out of their minds. Like, that's where I'm like, who do I feel different about now than I did 2 weeks ago? And it's like I'm probably going to say Michigan just because I think they've just surpassed my expectations, and because of Tom Izzo or whatever, I have higher expectations for Michigan State. They are to me a better program than Michigan. They've had more consistency. They've like everyone. Steve, you bring up Middle Tennessee State. I mean, that's once in a fucking generation loss that happens. Like that has not been Izzo's MO, right?
No, I know that. I know that.
I'm just saying their program is their program is very established, which is I look at first year coach for Michigan, a ton of transfers coming in, faced a ton of just like tough end of the year challenges, right? They were losing, right? Wolf wasn't playing well, and look what they've been able to do in the tourney. I think I've learned more about Michigan, but I've been impressed even more with Michigan State with what they've been able to do because they've shown a resilience they didn't necessarily have to show all year. So, but I mean, like, can you guys answer this honestly? Like, are you aligned? Do you think it's Michigan is the one that showed you more so far that's impressed you? Or has it been Michigan State and the fact that they've been down, been able to come back? They've really shown like this isn't fake. This is real. Like this team is really built to compete.
I think I've learned more about Michigan because I feel like State's always had that in them.
I would say kind of the same, like where I expected both teams to be here where they're at in the Sweet 16, but the way that Michigan State has gotten there has been, I would say, maybe a little more disappointing. It feels weird to say, but just like I haven't felt like I haven't loved the way that they've shown up to get there. Whereas watching Michigan, I think that they've shown a little more. Just a little bit more toughness than I expected. And also, to your point on the guard play, we just haven't seen that in that same way out of them, where guys like Gale and Donaldson stepping up to win them games down the stretch. And like to see that they can do that is, I haven't seen that same like level of surprising good things out of Michigan State so far in this tournament.
Interesting. Yeah, I think there wasn't going to be a right or wrong answer there. I think it's just
tell us who won. Tell us who won.
You both win. No,
someone needs to lose.
Yeah, I know. That's what I just, the fact that this could happen is exactly what the NCAA wanted. It's exactly what they wanted, was to have this rematch. I actually think it's fucking stupid. I hate that they're going to potentially have to play again. Like, we already saw them play twice. Like, what are we doing? Like, yes. I just think it's dumb, and I get it.
I just think it'd be fun for us. Like, I think it'd be fun for guys like us who are like, we're entrenched in this rivalry our whole lives. And it's like, okay, let's add one more.
It'll be the first time ever they'll play in the tourney, I think.
That's what I mean. Like, here's a new chapter for the story that we can add. And,
like we said,
and enjoy together.
I don't want it. So badly don't want it.
You don't want it out of fear of a loss, right?
I think we'd still win, but I just like the stakes get raised to a level that I just don't need in my body.
Yeah. I think the level of Michigan fanism to you, Wilson, that would be like, even if they lose, they're just like, it's our first year. It's okay. Like, you know what? We played great. We shouldn't have been here. Congrats to you. We're gonna
say that part.
We're gonna stand on your fucking logo and just shit all over it in mid-court, but it's cool. We don't know about these traditions. And then if you win, it's gonna be like, or if Michigan wins, it's gonna be like, sorry, you guys suck. Like, we were always better than you. Izzo's overrated. It's just the storylines are just epic both ways.
Epic, yeah.
But anyways, okay, so predictions. Okay, so we feel like Michigan State should handle Ole Miss. I mean, just going through a quick game preview too. I pulled just some quick stats on. We'll start with Michigan State. So they're playing Friday at 7:00 in Atlanta. They're going up against Ole Miss. Ole Miss is 21st in the Ken Pom. Honestly, looking at what fuels Ole Miss in general for me, like I pulled last week, the main thing is I think they do not turn the ball over. They rank number 4 in the country in turnovers at only 9 turnovers per game. So they just do not turn the ball over. And they they're ranked 30th in the country in terms of forcing turnovers. So kind of like what we saw with some of the earlier matchups, like this is one of those teams that is generally not going to beat themselves, which I think is an interesting matchup for Michigan State that historically does not do the same thing. But you look at all their other stats. I mean, they're in the 200-300s when it comes to mostly all of their offensive and defensive stats here. So I think from my perspective, Michigan State, it's getting off to a better start than they have. I think getting Jace involved a lot more early on, forcing the issue a little bit. He's been a little tentative, but I still feel confident in Michigan State. Their dominance on the boards to me has been continued to stand out. It stood out in both games, and they're just like the guard play and rotation has been great. So I'm still confident in Michigan State win. I think it'll be a close game just because I think that's what happens at this point. But confidence level, Wilson, I'll ask you, obviously, going into the game, on a scale of 1 to 10, are you sitting at a 6, 7
I'm
range?
at more of an 8. I feel pretty confident. I think you kind of nailed it on some of the points that I was going to make. The rebounding has to be top tier. Jackson Kohler had 2 rebounds in the last game. That can't happen. Thankfully, Carson Cooper stepped up and had 8. And
he had a great game.
Yeah.
He had a great game.
But Kohler's got to be better on the glass and down low and defensively, to be honest. He was pretty terrible defensively. So winning down low, getting the boards, Jace has got to – I want to see him going to the basket early. He was shooting a lot of threes, and I think he got it in his head. He even had a couple of wide open threes after he had missed a few that he just bricked.
Yeah.
So – he's got to get to the basket and get some early points. The point on turnovers that Ole Miss just doesn't do.
Yeah.
That I haven't looked up how many points per game they score, but typically when you hear that they don't turn the ball over a lot and that they cause a lot of turnovers, it means they like to play a lot of half court basketball. So they're not a fast break team is what that tells me. They don't play fast because it's really hard to play fast and also not turn the ball over at all. And so I think that could be to Michigan State's advantage because Michigan State's one of the fastest get down the court and score quickly teams in the country, which it's then going to be about having Michigan State play their game and not letting Ole Miss slow them down into a half-court offense where Michigan State does dribble, handoff, and they get stagnant. So they need to get out and on the break.
Yeah,
but I think they win 7-8 points.
Mississippi State, they rank 66th in the country of
Ole Miss, you mean?
Yeah, sorry. Ole Miss ranks 66th in the country in terms of scoring per game. So again, it's all dependent on schedule and all that. You always notice the things I look on here the most when we're looking at these stats is rebounding, assist to turnover ratio. That's the stuff to me that regardless of who you're playing, if you're playing a shitty schedule and you're still turning it over, like that's going to be a major problem against a good team. But if you're not turning it over and you're going up against good teams, like that's even better. The fact that they're ranked so high in the Ken Palm too, in my opinion, I think that, again, take that for what it is. We both believe in it, right? I think that shows that they've had a decent schedule this year. But I agree. I think Michigan State should go in, cautiously optimistic that anything can happen in the tournament. But I think they should be. I mean, they're obviously favored. I think it was 6 point last time I checked. I think the spread was. So, anyways, Steve, let's talk Michigan. How we feeling? So, Michigan going up against Auburn. There's a lot to say about Auburn in terms of stats. We know they're the number one seeded team in this tournament this year, right? They're coached by Bruce Pearl. I can't stand Bruce Pearl. I think he's just a weird fucking guy.
He's like a crocodile.
Yeah, he's just a weird fucking dude, man. I've never felt like he was that good of a coach, but clearly he obviously is. But turnover percentage, 13.4%. It's fifth in the country. Again, just do not turn the ball over, which both of these teams at Michigan and Michigan State's going up against. They block shots at a higher rate than all but three teams in the country. They do a great job covering 3-point shooters, which I think is going to be key this weekend. They're going to have to put a lot of focus on the two guys in the middle for Michigan State or for Michigan. I say that, Wolf doesn't really play on the inside though. When you really look at his game, he's obviously 7 foot, but he floats a lot of time outside. So I think that's kind of interesting. It's been mostly Golden down low that's been a beast for them, but obviously Auburn's kind of cream of the crop here, right? They had a really good start to the year. They fluttered a little bit down the stretch, lost 3 of their last 4. But Steve, your thoughts going into the game, you feel like confidence level 0 to 10? Are you at, hey, I'm 5, I'm cautiously optimistic, or what's your vibes going in?
I don't want to cop out and give you a 5.
Yeah, that's like a neutral, right? That's like
I'm gonna go 6, and here's why. Because they've looked beatable through the first couple games. They haven't looked like, think of like UConn last year. It was like okay, here you go, just get through the end of this tournament, right? Like, yeah. I feel like as the number 1 overall seed, they've looked beatable, and it's possible, right? So it's more likely than not that we're going to lose, but if everything goes borderline perfect for us, we can win. But it's going to take a lot, and you nailed it, right? The guard play's got to be elite, and it's just going to be tough. Like you're going to have to fire on all cylinders to have a chance. So I think we'll be able to tell pretty early in the game where my confidence level will be. Yeah. In real time, whether it's higher or lower than that. Yeah. Depending on how the game's unfolding, because it can get out of hand quickly.
Yeah. I think the injury too to that Baker Mazzara, if he's out like that, I think he hurt his hip in the last game. He came out for a while, and he came back in. They immediately yanked him out again. So like that to me, he's been a stud. So that could be a huge letdown if he ends up not playing. I'm not sure if they've given him a status today, but he's obviously got 4 or 5 days to heal up here, but it may take an injury or something like that to really give Michigan a chance. The guards have to continue to play elite, because we know the 3-point shot still matters so much in the tourney. But Wilson, you were going to say something. Go ahead.
No, I think great point on the injury. Like that, if that, he's a key player. So
he's a stud. He's been a stud.
That could be, that could be bad for them. And I think what it's really going to take for Michigan is they're going to need somebody to just kind of go off like Roddy Gale did. And they're going to need like Danny Wolf to just like drop 30 points, or like find some mismatch that they were expecting, but nobody else was expecting. And just like some guy gets hot. And then obviously everybody has to be playing well, but some guys got to just go off. So I think it's possible so I would say I'm probably right there with you, Steven, like a 5-6, like,
just for sake of not going a 5, I'll give you a 6.
Okay.
I probably am realistically at a 5, but
I would expect both of your answers, right? And again, I think it comes back to the expectations for the team. Wilson, you're going in with an 8, saying it wouldn't be a disappointment if they lost. Damn right it would be. Like, you're going in with an 8.
I never said it wouldn't be a disappointment. To like just like To be totally
I'm pretty sure
frank,
you said it was like, it's fine. It'll be a good year.
No. That's not what I said. Like,
I'm pretty sure you said, I'm happy with whatever the outcome is.
Yeah. Can we just roll the tape back? We got to roll the tape back here, Wilson.
I never said I'm happy with whatever the outcome is. I said I would be very disappointed, but I wouldn't call it a bad year. I don't think most of the country would be like super shocked, is all I said.
Wilson, you keep saying this country bullshit. Who cares what the country thinks, bro? I'm talking about your fans. I don't care what these countries
think.
Michigan,
the country would be shocked.
Michigan State fans would be.
Isn't that who we care about, though? I don't give a shit what the national media thinks.
No, I think the national media would still be shocked, though. It's Michigan State.
I think they'd be like, "Oh, it's an upset," but I don't think that there would be like a "Holy cow! Can you believe Michigan State lost to Ole Miss?" But I
don't know, man.
Exactly how
you really think it would be like?
Yes.
Oh my God! I can't
think
believe
they'd be in that studio after, like. This is Ole Miss roll through a great opponent. I can't believe it.
I agree.
I just don't know.
Wilson, I think you're underestimating how good I seriously, I think you're underestimating how good Michigan State has been this year and how much respect they've earned from everybody in the country with how good that they actually think that they are.
I think it's because I have that Michigan State in me, which is like underdog mentality.
Yeah.
It truly is. And so maybe that's what's coming through here is because we came into the season unranked. It's like, we're the like they call us the little brother, right? So you got this underdog mentality. But
I can't believe you just called yourself the little brother. Fuck.
No,
I didn't really know.
We are not. No. I'll be clear. We are not. But that's what we're called all the time.
You're the younger brother. I get it. It's different.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Fighting words.
I think to be completely Frankie Fiddler, we should win this game, but I personally will not be shocked to my core if we don't. An 8 out of 10 confidence level just means I think we should win this game. I'm pretty confident that we will, but anything can happen at this stage. Ole Miss has to be a better team than you guys are saying to have gotten a 6 seed and to be here in the Sweet 16.
Well,
so it's like,
they are. They're a good team for sure. They, like I said, they're ranked 21st in the Ken Palm. Like they're a good team. Like that's what we go on, right? That is a solid ranking.
But Michigan State wins. I mean, they win. They win this game.
There
they
we
win
go.
This game, guys. Come
Give
on,
it to us.
We win.
Yeah.
Michigan ranked 20th in the Ken Palm, so take it for what you will, right? And Michigan State was ranked 7th.
You waxed us by 20.
Yeah,
twice.
Speaking of waxing by 20, are our Tigers going to get destroyed this week or what? Have you guys seen? Have you guys seen this injury report coming out? Like what happened today? More of the news today.
Wait, no, I didn't see that.
Okay, so you already know the injuries.
You're breaking news to me right now.
Yes, I know. I'm breaking news to you. Okay, you obviously already know. Parker Meadows was placed on the 60-day injured list today, so he'll be out till May. Yeah, so he's out.
I didn't even know he was on 60 days.
Yeah, he's on 60. Cool. His nerve is just he's hitting, doing light baseball activities, but he can't throw because his nerve is just not waking up.
Jeez, that's not a 60-day heel injury. That's continue in 2026.
So the problem is they literally cannot wake the nerve up. Like that's part of the issue. It has to wake up on its own. Like they can't stimulate the nerve. So it's like a weird injury. It's like waking up in the middle of the night and your arm is numb and his is just not. Like the nerve is not waking up.
Doesn't seem like something he's going to come back in 60 days and be Parker Meadows. Like
right. Cool. So because his defense is everything, right? And he's
awesome.
He's at what +7 or something in the outfield +7 WAR or something when he's in the outfield. It's insane.
Not making me feel better.
Right. Then you have Matt Vierling who's out with that pectoral strain, which is again another weird injury that to me just screams like that could be a season ender too. They're not saying it is. They're confident that he's going to come back. So with all that said, you're thinking, all right, we're going to rotate Justin Henry Malloy, right, and Wenzel Perez come out today. Wenzel Perez, who's our switch hitter, right, play center field, back inflammation. He's out for at least a month. So brutal. So now you've lost pretty much your 3 center fielders you had on the roster. So right now your outfield's looking like it's going to be Riley Green, obviously. It's going to be Kerry Carpenter. It's probably going to be Justin Henry Malloy. And then they just signed this week Manuel Margot. He played for the Twins last year, right-handed bat, 30 years old. He's been in the league for 9-10 years. He's a solid right-handed bat. Like, you're not going to play him every day. He's going to be a situational player. But reality is they just had the injury bug hit in the worst spot, which is the center of their infield. the center of their outfield. So that's just been rough news this week coming out of camp. Scott Harris spoke today and said, like, there's not a ton that they can do at this point. There's not really a trade they can make because everyone's breaking camp.
Wait, so and then you said the outfielder is going to be who?
It's going to be Green, Carpenter, Malloy, and Manuel Margot, who we just signed.
So that means Riley Green's going to have to play center field, which you can pencil him in for a 30-day DL stint.
Scott Harris came out today, Steve, and said they do not want to play Green in center because they know his legs cannot handle it.
You can't. Not unless you want, like I said, not unless you want him to be on a 30-day DL at some point this year.
But boys, who was taking reps at center field?
Javi Baez.
Their last spring training game. You're damn right he was.
Wow.
Because fucking why not?
Yep. So anyways, I'll give you guys this real quick. This is going to be final roster projections, what they have today. Catcher, no surprise, Rogers and Dingler. Cole Keith's going to be playing first. Torres is going to be playing second. Javi and Trey are going to be short. Third is going to be McKinstry and Ibanez now is going to be your righty-lefty matchup. Those are going to be your two starting third basemen. Then Green, Carpenter, Malloy, Margot, and then they're probably going to carry Torkelson's probably going to make the team as a DH first base relief for Keith. So just tough. They've lost some they've lost some key guys. Parker is huge to be out. To me, he's the biggest miss of anybody that could be out on this team. It's Parker Meadows by a mile.
Well, the stat I heard with him in our lineup, we were like,
we
got like a 700 winning record or something like that last year when he was in the lineup.
Yeah,
and that's what concerns me is that's not an injury that you're just going to one day come back and be like, oh yeah, I'm fine. It's not like a broken Aiden Hutchinson's injury, looked gruesome. He's going to come back and be 100% because that bone's going to heal.
Yeah,
right, and he's going to be back to normal. This nerve not waking up, you don't know what's causing that. That's not something that's just going to go away.
Yeah.
It's probably triggered from other things and other injuries that are nagging. And
it's brutal.
It's
just brutal.
Just hearing you walk through that projected lineup is, man, it's tough because you see the gaps and obviously we already had them at third and
Great, Wilson. Great pun with the gaps. I love that.
Exactly.
We're gonna have gaps all over the place.
We really are. Yeah. But I feel like we kind of managed through just as much of a challenge last year with pitching as what this sounds like. And hopefully it is only till May or something.
Hopefully.
And then,
you're probably talking
left.
And you're probably talking some AAA stints in there and stuff too. I think they got it's going to sound crazy. A guy like Ryan Kreidler who has played second, he can play in center. That's just what that's what it's going to be.
Dude,
but the good news.
Talk about this anymore.
No, I know it's frustrating.
Ryan Kreidler playing center field.
I know, but they
fucking vomit right now.
They've literally, Steve, everybody that would have played center is out. You look, Perez, Meadows, Vierling, and even Akil Baddoo fractured his wrist in spring training. He's also out. I'm not saying he's any good shakes, but he plays a damn good center field. He's fast as hell. He's good on the bases.
Daz Cameron.
Love Daz. Can we talk about our starting pitching though? I think that's the worst part. I think they got a top 3 to 5 staff in all of majors.
Yeah, Casey Mize is looking really good in spring, which is great.
And Steve, I thought it was interesting too when we had Cody on. So the final rotation, Mize and Job took the last 2 spots. Then you got Skubal, Flaherty, and Olsen. But Kenta Maeda, who's Steve, when we had Cody on, he thought Kenta was going to make the rotation, and Mize just pitched out of his mind. So now Maeda's going to the bullpen, which I think is just fascinating. He's going to be kind of your long reliever coming out of the pen. My guess is Job's going to have his innings limited, but our starting pitching and our relief pitching, there hasn't been a ton of changes to the bullpen this year. Biggest one is probably getting Tommy Canley came over from the Yankees. He's probably the biggest reliever that we signed, but our starting pitching is going to make these 2-1, 3-2 games that we're just going to be we just need a big hit like we were getting last year. And I think that's going to be the hardest part about watching some of these games early on is can the bats be good enough to keep us in these games with a lot of our guys down? You know what I mean? And I think that's going to be the biggest question going in. So not to be doom and gloom heading into the season. I think it's a concern. It's a major concern.
Yeah, that's pretty doom and gloom, but rightfully so.
It makes me think that going into the season, we should say the same thing we said last year, which is like if we can just hang around 500 for these first, couple months, then we're going to be okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because I think maybe you're hopefully going to maybe this puts a little bit more pressing on the deadline, right? Maybe you try to swing a trade, but again, this is why this whole Bregman thing has
or it turns it into
us.
a completely different direction, and you're sellers at the deadline again.
And you're selling
Casey Mize, see a Jack Flaherty, see a
no.
Gleyber Torres. Yeah, you'd be selling. Those three guys.
Don't you dare. Yeah. Don't you dare.
Let's get some Max Clark action up in here,
Yeah, I know, really.
But so Tigers open up Thursday in LA. I think they got a 3-game set there. Then they go over to Seattle. Opening day is April 4th here in Detroit. I believe we're playing the Yankees or White Sox. Then we got the Yankees after that. So they got a tough stretch going into LA to start the year on national TV on Thursday. Is going to be, it'll be interesting.
Big stage.
Anyways, so we'll see. That's your spring training / regular season update, which was horribly doom and gloom, which I did not necessarily intend it to be that way, but shit. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we add to it? Because unless you have something else to say on that.
What do you got? I
was gonna transition us with another injury topic.
I was trying to figure out a segue myself, but we the injury bug is spreading like wildfire.
Rampant?
I say.
Rampant.
Yes,
and take the points is not immune
uncontained.
To it. Yeah.
No, take the points. So we will be.
Do we need some background? Can we get some We need a setup on this for everybody listening too. We need like a solid setup about what we're about to do because I think it's
Wilson,
key.
baby. How are you?
I'm good. So I've for anybody who hasn't heard, if you haven't listened to the pod, I injured my leg, my LCL and my calf muscle torn. Goodbye.
One of my favorites.
But I'm actually doing much better than I was last week. I'm able to put a little bit of weight on it. Not a ton, but I can put some on it, and I have a little bit more range of motion, so I'm feeling optimistic. I don't need surgery, which I found out on Friday, so I'm pretty stoked about that. Just physical therapy, 6 to 8 week recovery time from now.
Yeah.
So it could have been a lot worse.
You're on the 60-day DL.
I'm on the 60-day DL.
You and Parker. You and Parker Meadows. You and Jay Nivey on the same recovery time?
Yeah. Just as huge of a miss for my team as Parker Meadows is for the Tigers too.
Yeah.
What's a Wilson's rec league war, right? What's his?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So I'll do some setup. We're gonna watch the video of the injury that Steve has so lovingly queued up for me.
Yeah. We have it. We have the video.
Let me just preface this though. We were down by like 15 points. This is garbage time of this men's rec league game. This doesn't matter at all. Okay, I'm a mid 30-year-old guy. Like I've got a kid. I need to just say to myself at this point, dude, just like
you were Tommy Tryhard right now.
Let the game be over. Okay, but no, I'm playing hard D. No. Right, I'm like grinding it out to the end. There's like a minute and a half left in the game. I get a steal. Okay, I get a steal, and normally. My immediate instinct on a fast break is I'm going to get the other guy that's coming down the court with me involved, and I'm going to probably pass the ball and let them be the one take it to the basket. I'm like the point guard. I don't like to go to the basket. I'm not that tall. I'm not that big. I don't have crazy quick moves or like good finishes at the rim. That's not my game. But for some reason, I thought to myself right here, I'm going to take both of these guys on. And that you see on the screen if you're watching the video. I'm going to go at both of them. I'm going to the basket. Why not? I just got this steal. As you see, there's 0 people in the stands, so there's nobody to impress. It's just me and these 2 guys in the basket. And I'm thinking to myself, I got to get a big finish here.
Yeah.
So here it comes. This is me going right up the middle at these 2 guys.
Okay. All right, we're going to play it here. If you're watching us on our YouTube channel, you should be able to see the video with us. If you're just listening, we'll do our best of play-by-play and color commentary here. So
it's really quick, though. It's really quick.
Great. Yeah, we got about 43 seconds clip here. So here
comes that. Wilson right down.
Here, they don't know yet how injured I am. The play is continuing, and they
I got to pause. They don't know yet. You did the floor pound. You did the wall pound and the floor pound.
Yeah.
I knew immediately. I felt it. It was just like my leg and felt like it's never felt before. I knew something is wrong. So play that again real quick. I know it's really fast.
Who is this number one on your team that's like, oh, Wilson's dead? Sick. Can I still get a jumper out of this?
Yeah,
like, what the hell is that guy doing?
Behind the 3-point line. He's trying to step in.
Yeah.
But look at my leg. Oh, you see how it's just kind of dead legs. So
right. Kicking. Okay. First of all, who is this guy?
He's the best player on the team. He's
the guy that just got into the frame.
Number 6 right there, or number 5?
This dude.
Oh, that's one of my best friends.
There is no urgency, Trent.
No.
Well, they were down. Up. I mean, they were down by 30, but I mean, Wilson also remember if we're using them,
and Trent's calf isn't torn, so
yeah, right.
Yeah, true. Trent, but
you're good, you're good, Trent.
No, wait. Trent's the best friend. Does Trent go over? Does check on Wilson here, or what's
Let's see.
Let's find out. So I'm rolling around.
No.
Trent doesn't give a shit.
No, nobody. Oh, he's reaching.
In my head right now, I'm like, dude, I'm done. I just know right here that this is bad. Like
in your head, you're like, dude, fucking Trent, get over here, and help me.
I think he does. Play it. I think he does.
Okay. Oh, there he goes. He's heading.
This volume is horrible. Volume's horrible.
Is it too loud or too quiet?
It's very loud.
What you're hearing is the game going on the court over.
Is this the trainer? Is she the trainer?
She actually got me an ice pack, which was very helpful. But look at this, guys, carrying me. I got
you're getting carried.
Weight. I couldn't put any weight on that thing. Look at me. Oh man, I look so terrible there.
I just want to be very clear that Trent did nothing. Trent didn't come over. He didn't smack down the ass on the way. Trent literally is like, "Are we going again? Do we got a chance to come back?" That is wrong. Trent, well done.
I'm going to send him this clip for sure.
Some stat padding. When I look at this here, when you're getting carried off, this reminds me of when Paul Pierce pooped his pants and had to get wheelchaired off. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yes. I did take a wheelchair out to my car from here.
You took a wheelchair to your car from here?
I couldn't put I would have to be carried in arms like a baby otherwise because I couldn't put any weight on that thing. So
I love someone taking
this big number 22 could have carried you like a baby.
He probably could have. For sure. He probably could have.
It didn't feel like your team was super concerned.
No, I know.
For your health.
And by the way, number 22, I just have to say, we were guarding each other for a good 5-minute stretch in this game somehow. And he did not score, which is just kind of sad. So I don't mean to call, I don't know who his name is, but I don't want to call him out. But dude,
22's got to be like 6'5".
Yeah.
6'5", 290. Probably 315.
He tried to back me down one time, only one time in a 5-minute stretch, and I stole the ball. So
that's probably why your calf muscle weakened.
He took a bigger L than me in that game. Yeah.
Also, Wilson, we got to talk a little bit too about when you initially were communicating with Steve and I on this injury. Your comment was, took a Euro step to the lane. That's a bold.
That's a generous definition.
Okay, so I hadn't watched this yet in my brain. This is a Euro step, but it clearly is not as you watch it.
Are you in Europe when you make this step? Because that's the closest this would be to a Europe step.
It's just more so. It's just a gather and take a step to the side is what that is. It's not too far from a Euro step, to be honest, because all that a Euro step is a gather and take a step to the side. And,
it's pretty far from a Euro step.
But looking at that now, I would never call that a Euro step. I just hadn't watched this video back, so.
And you missed. We got to talk about the biggest elephant in the room.
Yes. I couldn't believe nobody had said that yet. I missed it.
You missed the
shot. The shot did not drop.
Yeah, the shot. And Trent's over here just like, will you pass me the ball, dude? That's rough, Wilson. Hey, that's rough, man.
You know what? I will say I'm proud of myself. I took it to the basket. It's not a bad take to the basket. If you look at it, it's like, you
missed the layup. It was not a great take.
But I'm a 3-point shooter, and I took it to 2 guys on a fast break. So
that's what you get. You got to stay on the outside, man. What are you doing?
Next time, I will shoot a 3.
Listen, if you can't run with the big dog, stay on the porch, all right? What are you doing going in there? Also,
it's true.
Also, the fact that you were down 30 still going for it, respect on the hustle.
Thank you.
Yeah. And to be very clear, if I were in your league, I would have blown out both my knees already.
Oh, for sure.
I would not even be playing this game because I'd be
dead. Yeah.
I'd be on the 120-day deal.
Agreed. I totally agree. Yeah.
I think knee injuries in your mid-30s.
Wow, thanks. Not even a little bit of confidence in me. But
no. What I was actually thinking was I don't think either of you would score a single
your
point
knees, no way.
Ever in that league. So
I think that's a little aggressive. I think that's a tad aggressive.
Combined?
Mr. Luka Doncic.
Is this combined?
I'm just kidding. The
combination of me and Robbie would not combine for 1 point.
Yeah, if we were like to morph into what is this like? Yeah, no. If we were to morph into one, we'd be a hell of a. We'd be short, but we'd be fast and tough. All right, we'd be the Muggsy Bogues of.
I'd have to see you guys play. I'd have to see you play to really be able to make an assessment. But
I mean, based on what I just saw, Wilson, I don't know if I really need your assessment based on the fake Euro step I just saw into an ACL tear, into a missed layup.
Trent, fair.
Trent, IDGAF for you right now. You and Trent need to have a friend-to-friend conversation. Like if that was
Trent,
Steve and I playing and Steve went down, I'm over there like the play's over for me. Steve, you all right, buddy? Like you need something? You okay?
That's fair.
Trent was like, yo, we're down 25. We still got a shot. Like he was pulling a Michigan. You know what I mean? He's like, we're going to stand on the logo. We're just going to hang out. The game's not over yet. We still got a chance to win. Don't be kissing the floor in front of us. You know, that's what.
Yeah. I would, if I was out there, I would have gave it a resounding.
Oh, man. Wow. So I think my takeaways here are that
you never share your basketball footage with two people that you do a podcast with, like Steve.
Yes.
And I.
Well, Steve did ask for it. I didn't willingly share this, but my takeaways are you respect my player perspective anymore. So you think I shouldn't be giving that
anymore.
And also, and also, you don't think that Trent is a good friend for me.
I would just.
I think there's some splaining to do.
Keep your guard up around Trent.
Okay.
Just keep your guard up around Trent.
I literally officiated his wedding. so
obviously not well.
This is not helping his case.
Yeah.
By the way,
Trent, if you need some friends, like just you know what, if like Wilson, my point is, if I see Steve and he's having an off day or you're having an off day, I will come up to you and be like, "You doing all right?" Like you're down on the ground in
rolling
pain,
around,
slamming on the ground. For me to be like, "Yo, I'm out." Like. You good? All right.
Clutching at your extremities. Your leg.
Like a father, right? I mean, just truly. Who knows what does that mean? And you got wheeled out to the car. That means you had to drive home. Clearly, like were we in the best shape to do that? Do we need to call the?
Let me just give Trent a little bit of credit. He really wanted to not let me drive myself home because he was that concerned. He was like, "I will take you home. Leave your car here." You know, I can.
And then he charged you for the gas money, probably, right?
Trent's like, I'll call you an Uber.
Like, hey, Wilson.
No problem. I'll call you a Lyft.
Hey, Wilson, that was 2.4 miles out of my way. And my current fuel economy, you owe me $1.28.
Never. He would never. But
Wilson and I would come help you. I just want you to know that.
You would come help me? Okay.
I mean, me and Steve would come help you.
I would have swooped in there. I'd have thrown you in the bed of my truck and performed surgery on himself.
Never seen Wilson again.
So now that we've played that video, okay, me at my worst, missing the layup, having an injury, I feel like it's only fair that you guys let me make a 1-minute highlight reel of my highlights.
Yes.
To put on there.
Can you put your rap song on there too?
Yes. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
It would just be bleepity bleep bleep bleep. Would be the rap song. Wilson, the fact that you're willing to put time and effort into making your own highlight video, I think that just speaks volumes on so many different levels that I think if anyone wants it, please reach out to our Gmail, takethepointshow@gmail.com. We're happy to share a link out. Maybe that'll be our best performing video on the socials. Like, is this guy good? Question mark with your highlight reel.
I've got a few different highlight reels, so I'll have to make the best of the best.
He's like, I'll make you guys a highlight
reel.
Then he's like, I got a few already.
I mean, Wilson, the level of people listening to this
he's got his mid-season highlight reel ready to go.
Right. It's epic, Wilson. Just the level of confidence with your hoops is just. Well, I love it.
The only reason, and I know we're going on this for way too long, but the only reason that I feel confident in making that is because I know that in reality, I'm not a true hooper. I mean, I'm not a real basketball player, so I feel okay with kind of jokingly making my own highlight reel because it's more funny than it is anything. So let's just make that clear.
Funny and sad at the same time.
It's sad. It's funny. Yeah.
I do not love that you gave that peek behind the curtain.
I agree.
Really? Come on.
I think kayfabe.
Why?
I just think you
it's
weakened.
Like pro wrestling, dude. You got to when you see the Undertaker in public, he rolls his eyes at you. He doesn't like shake your hand and say, "Hey, I'm Mark." Like he's always the Undertaker.
I don't want people to think I'm a douchebag who thinks I'm like actually good at basketball.
I don't think people need to think that. They can just hear your takes, and I think they generally can make their own assessment.
Yeah, that's the assessment that they would make.
I want them to think that.
I don't want them to think that. So that's why you don't like that I gave that peek behind the curtain because you want them to think I'm a douche when I'm actually just kind of kidding.
I just want them to not know for sure.
But
Agreed.
They will still not know for sure when we actually play my highlight reel. And I'm like, dude, look at that 3. That was wet in that guy's face.
Yeah.
Because that will happen.
I mean, I would hope so. With the number of like games that you play in this league, I sure as hell hope you have some images or videos of you making a 3-pointer. I hope that happens. I really do.
Okay. Well, I would love to see it from you.
Yep.
I will beat you in a game of horse all day, any day of the week.
Yeah.
There's
if you want to go
a 0% chance. I would bet $10,000 on that.
Great. I love it. I don't have $10,000 to bet, but
I think that there is less than a 0%.
Especially right now. You don't have a calf right now.
I would do it right now. I literally would beat you in a game of horse at this moment.
Okay. Well, Wilson, we look forward to getting back to dominating your Troy Mustangs U13 league.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. I'm
glad
we
saved. You're just the best player on.
Yeah. When is summer registration? That opens up soon, right?
Yeah.
It's already open right now. And to be clear, I'm also not even close to the best player on it. But you guys would be probably drafted last and second to last if you were to join the league. So I'll send you the registration link.
Steve, the knives are coming out big time.
I know. Yeah, he's throwing them.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Listen. Yeah.
It's okay.
Well, this was great.
This was fun. I feel great about myself now, guys. I'm
good.
Yeah.
Gonna go to bed happy.
Know who shouldn't is Trent.
Agreed. Trent, we got some talking to do, buddy. Come on.
We got to have him on. We'll bring him on the pod.
I love it.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious to talk about his friendship analysis after his friend goes down with a damn near dead leg injury. He doesn't even just shooting hoops by himself, waiting for the game to restart. Can't live that down. It's on video. Tough.
Yeah, that is. It's just not a good look for Trent.
He would hate this. I'm actually probably not even going to show this to him because
we should name this podcast. Not a good look for Trent.
Maybe Wilson. You know what you should do? I think we should just cut this segment off and just have it be like Wilson's basketball injury segment because it needs its own space. No one's going to hear it because it's 20 minutes or it's an hour deep in this pod. So,
oh man, I don't know about that. I kind of disagree.
Anyways, yeah.
All right. Well, this was great, guys. A lot of good hoop stuff and so much more still to come. We didn't even talk about the Pistons because there just wasn't time, but there's even more good hoops going on there. So
they're sizzling.
Catch me all weekend next weekend doing the same thing. The only sad part is there's just not enough games after you get to the second weekend. But high hopes for Michigan State, medium hopes for Michigan. And
that's perfectly accurate.
And no matter what, good times will be had.
Yep.
So good stuff. All right. Well, thanks for listening to another hour and 18 minutes of Take the Points. And we will be seeing you back here very soon. And if you haven't heard already, you should go like, subscribe, comment, and follow us on socials. We will see you back here very soon on Take the Points.
A true $100 podcast.